Okay. I ran out of witty ideas for an intro. Do you have any?
Oh, okay. Do I have any witty ideas? No, I don't have any witty ideas.
No, any witty ideas for an intro? I ran out. I'm fresh out. Tell me about Firehouse Sub.
We got 5 episodes in and you're out.
I'm out already. Yeah,
We're tapped out of like creative ideas, eh?
Yeah.
Thank God we're marketing.
I got to go do some soul searching this weekend and replenish. Let's get into it. Too often, marketing budgets are set by pulling numbers out of thin air. Then frustration sets in when results don't follow. So how much should you really be spending on marketing? And what's the cost of getting it wrong? I'm Josh. This is my co-host, Carson. And on MFAQ, Marketing FAQ, we dive into real marketing questions, give expert answers, and share actual insights we found to supercharge your marketing by working with 273 clients over the past 10 years. So, Carson, to kick things off here, first question is, someone comes to you and asks how much they should be spending on marketing. Where does your mind go first? And don't say strategy.
So it's the strategy. It has to be the strategy. Like, you don't get an option where it's not the strategy. Like, your strategy, when you build out a proper marketing strategy, you, say if you're an ad agency, in that you should have been like, okay, well, if we spend this much money, using the cost per click, using the cost per acquisition, using the benchmarks that are available in the industry, we should see this type of result. Forecasting is part of good marketing strategy. And so when you're, say, running a Google Ads campaign and you're selling a product, let's just say you're selling an outdoor product, like an outdoor jacket, you would hopefully have kind of said, hey, if I can get a cost per acquisition of X amount, I can see X amount of revenue. Am I happy with that? Great. So then in order to do that, you work backwards. My budget should be this. You need to do that, though, so that you can then do things like scale, know when you're spending too less or too much, right? Make those adjustments. You have to start from somewhere. You have to have a blueprint to look back to, right? If you're doing it in the dark, if you're marketing in the dark, right, you don't know what's working and or what is good and what is bad spend, right?
Why do so many people start without a strategy? Like, if everything points to strategy, why do so many people think it's just as easy as throwing some money into an ad account, creating the campaign, and i.e., at the other side of that, I make more? Like, why do so many people avoid that pre-planning process?
So, two things, okay? There could be two things. We've seen where it's like client executed, so the client has done it themselves. They've done their own marketing. Well, they did that with a Google search, with an AI, with something that they were asking it questions, how do you set this up, how do you do this? And then they would probably, one of the steps in there that we've seen, or I've specifically seen, is like, okay, so for this campaign, like how much money should I be spending a day? They'll just straight up ask that question, right? Or what you'll see is like, hey, like, you need the go, and we're gonna spend this much money. And the client just gives them a number. It gives either the marketing agency a number or gives their internal marketing manager a number and says, hey, we're going to spend this much money in marketing. And they just divide that by timeline of campaign, right? They don't, take a time and go, well, is this going to work with what we're doing? No, it's just inputting, right? And that's where it just becomes the difference of like working with thought process and, again, strategy, I keep saying it, in mind, and like where you're going to go and how you're going to get there versus just filling and checking boxes, right?
Okay, so then let's say a business wants to start from the frame of being like, okay, we make $100,000 a month, so I want to spend 15% on marketing. I want to spend $15,000 a month on marketing. Is there a flaw in that? Like, what do you do with that? Is that the wrong way of looking at it?
No, not at all. I'll use Loblaw, for instance. They're a grocery chain company, right? And they do marketing based on a percentage of every dollar sold. A percentage of every dollar sold has a marketing allowance to it. Now, is 100% of that dollars put into digital ads? No. Some of it's in posters, some of it's in signage, some of it will be in digital, some of it will be in social media investments, some of it will be in TV investment, radio, whatever it may be. That's just them going, hey, as a company, I bring in this much revenue, right? I need to allocate X amount of that percentage to my marketing. And that's how you just budget.
Okay.
Right? It's no different than, hey, how much money did you take home from your paycheck last month? Well, part of that should probably be for groceries.
Okay. So budgeting versus allocation of ad spend per platform, that's two different conversations.
Well,
Two different levels of analysis of like what we're going to spend.
Let's continue that train of thought. Your groceries, right? How much of it are you spending on meat? How much are you spending on rice? How much are you spending it on, pop or this or frozen foods or ready cooked meals? Like, what percentage of it needs to do what portion of the
The moving tree
the moving
in
tree,
between
'cause
us is
dog
just,
is eating the.
is just so funny.
Our office puppy is eating the plant.
Taylor, go over there. Go with Uncle Tom.
Get over here. Anyways, what portion of your spend is for what, right? That's where you take a budget that you've had allocated. So it's like your marketing budget, and you said, hey, this piece needs to go here, this piece needs to go here, this piece needs to go here. That's how you break it out.
Okay, understood. Okay, so there's two different businesses, same industry, same niche, same solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
More or less. Obviously, there's going to be some minor differences, but let's say overall, broad brushstroke, they're very similar. Both spend the same amount on marketing, but get two different results. Why?
It could be down to stuff that's set up, right? So marketing is also a giant, that's a very broad way of saying it. Like, hey, is one of those two companies doing brand awareness campaign strategy stuff, and one of them is doing lead gen based or sales based stuff? Like, what's the purpose of the marketing? Are they both equivalent in that? Or are they doing the exact same type of execution, right? Or are you just saying, hey, they have the same marketing budget, they're in the same field, same product, same everything, they're direct competitors or whatnot, and they're getting different results? It could be just straight up what type of marketing they're investing in.
Okay, fair. Okay, so new client comes to you, and they want to talk budget. They want to talk how much should I spend. What is it you need to know about a business? What should any good marketer know about a business before you can have an honest conversation about budget?
Goals, the goal, like the client's goal, the client's expectations. If it's a product, and if it's a high ticket item, right? Margin, like, hey, like, does a cost per, if we did the research, we go and do all that stuff, and we say, hey, cost per acquisition of your $600 product looks to be about $150. That's the benchmark cost per acquisition. Does that make sense with, your guys' margins? If you got an extra sale for every $150 sold, is that going to make sense with what you guys have in it? Like, those type of conversations should be had so that you can set the expectation right. The worst thing you could ever do is go, hey, realistically, the cost per acquisition is going to be this, but the client goes, well, I only have, X margin, and that's going to cut into that so much, I'm not going to make any money on doing this. Okay, well, maybe we need to look at a different way of marketing your product if going that route isn't going to make it make sense. Or maybe your strategy needs to have some level of, what's the word for it? Like, levers and accountability so that we can, adjust for that kind of stuff.
Okay, so is there such thing as a unmarketable business? What you were mentioning with regards to margins, the cost per acquisition for this type of niche, these people you're trying to get in front of. Is there such thing as a business that is not able to be marketed profitably?
No. It's just some marketing needs to be done certain ways. It's not like all marketing does not need to mean an equal profitability or sales right away. Brand awareness is a huge portion about this, right? Like, companies who do a lot of brand awareness campaigns and they focus on their brand, they could spend maybe less than a company who's doing lead gen or sales-based marketing. But in the end, because they've promoted their brand in such a way, they get a return on that ad spend outside of just a direct one-to-one correlation. Now, it's not always perfect, but there is products that exist like that. Like, that's where you start getting into what we call ROMI, or return on marketing investment, right? Influencer marketing is a huge thing, right? Not always is your influencer marketing campaign going to directly lead to all of your sales. You might get sales outside of what that influencer did. That influencer might have attributed it to a sale, but they aren't the direct one-to-one reason for it. They could have been a decision-making thing in someone's evaluation phase that they went through with their product.
Okay. So, how do you personally define enough when it comes to marketing spend then? how do you narrow that down into a window of spend that would make sense for a business?
Enough is not for me to define, right? Like, there's a point of diminishing returns with all budgets, right? So, hey, like, we've got to a point where we've scaled up an account to a point where, hey, to go get another significant increase in spend, like, it's just not going to make sense financially because you're going to have to spend 3x to get that next kind of level of success. What I typically recommend is that you start with a lower amount of advertising than you're going to want to cap at. So say if you want to cap at $5,000 a month for your ads, start smaller when you're starting out, work through all the kinks, get all that stuff out of the way so you know what's making sense. And then from there, essentially, when you get to your cap, make sure you're monitoring, you're hitting all your targets and goals that you've set out in your strategy. And then allow yourself to go, okay, can we go past the 5K, right? Or if you're like, no, realistically, based on the business, based on the client, this is as far as we can go, then we have to stop there. We have to leave it.
Okay. Have you ever advised a client to spend less or more than they initially expected?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I've had clients who've come to us and been like, hey, I want to spend 6K a month. And I go, oh, okay. Based on this, let's try spending 2. And we find that we have high success with 2. And they're happy, they're good with it. Okay, great. Let's just leave it as that. Let's leave it where it is. Great. And then we scale from there initially, right? Versus, where some clients are like, oh, I want to spend 3K on ads. And you go, okay, well, you're going to get 2 leads based on that. Or maybe that's a little aggressive, but you're not going to get the success metrics that you're trying to achieve and what you need to get. You're not going to get that with this spend. You need to spend more in order to get that because of benchmarks, because of reality. Maybe you've niched in. Maybe there's a high competition amount in that space.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So you mentioned earlier about 2 different companies, one focusing on lead gen, short-term sort of like lead generation and sales. Others maybe doing brand awareness, right?
Yeah.
2 comes with different costs, different setups, all this type of stuff. How do you balance short-term wins with long-term growth when thinking about marketing spend?
A short-term win, I mean, you have to define what a short-term win is. Like, what's a short-term win? Like, if you're having success in your ad spend, right, because your ad spend's right, so you're having wins, that leads to long-term.
Let's define it a little bit more. So how do you balance a business that is looking for short-term wins, i.e., I put some dollars in, I get leads, I get sales within a short period of time, within the next few weeks, versus a business that's going to put in money, invest in brand awareness, and not necessarily want to see the ROI from that ad spend for a couple months from now? How do you balance those when it comes to setting budgets, setting focus for the business?
The same way. They're both client relationship based things where you take the expectation, you go, okay, this is what this is. We build a strategy that hit that expectation. And in that strategy, we should have kind of a roadmap timeline of how we're going to get to the goal. And it doesn't matter how far out the goal is, right? Or how close the goal is. We roadmap it out and we just build and set expectations along the lines of how we're going to get there, what steps we're going to take, what things we need to do. If someone wants to have really fast turnaround, that may be a thing that elevates the budgetary spend.
Okay. What are some examples of when a business should be okay with spending, building more brand, and then long-term, like seeing the payoff more in the long term, being more patient with your return on what you're spending?
Longer sales cycles. That's the easy one, a long sales cycle. How long does it take your consumer to make a decision? Well, that's how long you need to market to them, right? Oh, hey, does your lead, you're getting a lead, your service, is that going to be a service that is, let's say, a 18-month sales cycle? Because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of decision makers. You're in a B2B world. You market to that person for a longer expectation of time. You don't probably have a 30-day attribution window or conversion window where, hey, they came in through through an ad, and they converted and they purchased our thing in 30 days. Well, your average sales cycle for your product is 18 months. Probably not realistic. You probably have to advertise to that person over a longer period of time. Mm-hmm. You can't just do low funnel only.
Okay. So long sales cycles, B2B. What about a What about a business, new business startup? They're coming into a highly competitive space, and they don't have any sort of awareness. They need to build brand.
If it's a product, it's how expensive is your product? Is your product relatively inexpensive? Then no, it's just pay to play, and you probably just have to invest more. Doesn't mean that you have to be prepared for a longer marketing journey. You just might have to hit certain benchmarks that are a little bit more elevated. Maybe the average cost per click isn't $12, or sorry, cost per acquisition maybe for you isn't $12 to $20. Maybe it's $25 to $30 because you have to pay a little bit more to penetrate into that space. But that's where your marketing strategy should also be angled towards how to get into that space.
And as long as your margins support it, your business dynamics support it.
Yeah.
If you can spend.
If you're going down the path of marketing and you need to do that kind of thing, you need to be prepared that there is a cost per doing it. I've said it before, there's a cost per success. And in marketing, sometimes that is an elevated cost in result because of factors that are outside your control or are factors that you need to be prepared to tackle because of what your product or service is.
Preach. What are the warning signs that a business is spending the wrong amount on marketing?
I mean, no results and a lot of ad spend. That's a good one. No results. And no results can mean that you're spending too little and you're spending too much. It can mean both. We have accounts that are industry standard cost per acquisition for the industry is $40. They're at a 400 one. Right? So something's wrong. Something's wrong in there. Something is not set up correctly, right? That's a pretty good indicator, right? So that's.
So again, when you look back to your benchmarks, industry standards, and these numbers just don't line up by a pretty wide margin. Target setup is wrong, spend is wrong. You got to revisit.
Well, like someone should have probably picked that off like originally, or if you're like, hey, we were running a campaign and the spend was $2,000 a month and we were getting results, and then now all of a sudden we're running a campaign and the spend's still $2,000 and we're not getting any results. Did something change? Something changed with the website? Did something change with your industry, with your landscape, with your target? Did your did everything become too common and they're not used to it anymore? Like,
can we get Max to pet the Dalmatian? Is he petting her? She's petting her and she's doing that? Sorry, we have a couple.
Our office dogs are just absolutely upset that we're doing this podcast.
They hate when we do a podcast, apparently. Okay, how do you help business owners move from asking how much do I spend to how do I get the most out of what I spend?
How
do you get them ROI, ROAS focused?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like them asking how much they spend. That's a very important question for a business owner, right? It's just when you get that information from them and you have them ask that question, it goes, okay, like you just turn around and go, okay, great. So, how much do you want to spend? Well, my predictions are this, this, and this. But what are your goals? What's your achievement? What do you have an expectation for? Okay, you want to get this X result, then you need to spend this X amount, right? You just need to make sure that you always do everything when it comes to budget with the expectation, the goal, what the business owner is trying to achieve in mind.
Fair. Okay. If you could give one golden nugget for setting up a marketing budget to get maximal returns, the setup, choosing the budget, what are some of those golden nuggets that you found? The levers you pull to get the best return?
Do strategy. I'm not kidding.
We come back to strategy.
It's always going to come back to doing strategy, because strategy gives you your target. Strategy gives you what the industry benchmarks are. So then strategy will give you your audience. It'll give you what messaging needs to look like. It'll inform you if you need to have something on like a landing page, or if you have to have something on an offer because of what's out there, competitive analysis, what's happening. It gives you more information to allow you to know what you need to do, right? And once you know what you need to do, then you can do it. It sounds silly, but like having a roadmap is a way better way to get to a location than going, yeah, it's 20 minutes up the road. Okay.
What's something that you fixed on a campaign that seemed dead in the water? Things are just looking at money's going in, returns not happening. What's something that stands out to you where you went in and fixed something simple, easy, contrarian, something was fixed and it made to one of the biggest returns?
We added a target audience. That was the big one. We just added a target audience. I mean, another one I've had is excluding negative keywords. I've had ones where it's about, one client had a smaller budget. They do ship their product all over the world. Okay, They do. They were using a $2,000 budget, though, to advertise to the world, right? And it's one of those ones like client set their own marketing up. That's fine. That's totally okay. But because they kind of set it up and they just followed steps or followed Google searches or AI prompts, they didn't think that again, no strategy involved. My spend needs to be targeted to a certain area. Or I've seen clients who are like, I'm going to target the United States. We want to go into the United States. We've had a client who wanted to do that. They want to go in the States. And I go, okay, which states? Pick a state. California has, 60 million people in it?
It's twice the size of Canada.
It's like twice the size of Canada.
Twice the population with, not size because it's minuscule compared to Canada.
But population-wise, so that's a targetable audience. So for the same amount you could target all of Canada, you can target 50% penetration on the same in California. How many people are in America now? 360 million?
Yeah, give or take.
So your budget that you use in Canada cannot equivocate to targeting all of America one-to-one.
Okay, gotcha. Last big question here. What's one budget myth or widely accepted industry best practice you've proven wrong in your own work?
That adding more money will always bring more results, and it's a good thing. Like, diminishing returns exists. It's my biggest thing that I've always said is that you get to a point where, yes, you could spend $200 more and get another lead. Is it worth it at the end of the day? At what point is the returns diminishing? And you just find that point and then go and do a different vertical. Turn something else on. Try a different piece of your strategy because you should have built one out. Invest in something else instead of just putting more money in for lacking or lesser results.
Lovely. Fantastic. Well, that is our How Much Should I Be Spending on Marketing episode for today. We have crazy dogs that need attention with their papas. So that is it for today. Every episode we put out is built on real, hard-won lessons from the trenches, helping our clients grow, win, and to connect with the people they're here to serve. If you found this valuable, subscribe on your favorite platform. Check us out at setsales.ca as well to learn more about how we can help your business grow.